We won't have time here, but I just explained an understanding that is becoming clearer and clearer to me. And I just know that it is right. I just know that it's right. And there's a lot of work to be done. Because things are speeding up. Now, Stu has one piece of information because I want to go to education here. And you have the results of a new survey?
Yeah, this is amazing. I mean, it's talking about colleges and how our kids are learning today. And this is what the study found. After 2 years in college, 45% of students, 45%, showed no significant gains in learning. After 4 years, only 36% still showed little change. Students also spent 50% less time studying compared with students a few decades ago. Many of the students graduated without knowing how to sift fact from opinion, make a clear written argument, or objectively.
This is exactly it. Intentional. I am telling you, this is intentional. At the same time, these things are going down. Don't talk to me about the high schools or the public schools or anything else. These are institutions of higher learning that their cost is going through the roof. They get to pick and choose who comes in. Don't tell me about, well, it's the parents, it's that. No. You get to pick and choose who comes in.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, and this is this is how you get the dummy vote, as it's been referred to. The students, for example, couldn't determine a cause of increase of neighborhood crime, or how to best respond without being swayed by emotional testimony and political spin. If that's not exactly the problem we've been having. And then
wait.
Think about that.
Say that last one again. Listen to that. That's why they're saying. Now listen. You have the progressives and the left churning this out. And then you have the progressives and the left telling people on television, this is dangerous because people are dummies. The way to fix that, if you have control for 4 years and you set the agenda and no one can question you, you fix that. You can fix that. Yeah. Listen to that one more time.
The students couldn't figure out how to respond without being swayed by emotional testimony and political spin.
Doomed. Unless something changes. Let me show you what's happening, and let me show you the path out. And I know it's right. I just know it's right. Coming up next.
Glenn Beck.
Glenn Beck.
Stu, this study on the colleges. Is this something that they just asked the students, hey, do you notice any difference, or was this a testing scenario?
I believe it was a testing. I think it was done, I say New York University.
By New York
University. It was not like a quick survey. It was an actual, one of their studies, an academic study.
And it was 24 different universities, right?
I believe you're right. I know it was 3,000 full-time students.
Okay, so now here's, just in a nutshell, just go over again what they found, and then there's one more fact, and then I want to tell you something that's coming together in my head, even more and more powerful.
Well, first of all, you have after 2 years in college, 45% of students showed no significant gains in learning. Many of the students could not respond to an argument without being swayed by emotional testimony and political spin. The average student spends 24% of their time sleeping, only 9% of their time working, 9% of their time attending class, 7% of their time studying, and 51% of their time socializing. So when you're sending your kid to the average kid in college is spending 75% of their time either sleeping or socializing.
Okay, let me. I just want to go over a few things. Will you agree that all thought is creative? As a man thinks, it becomes. All thought is creative. It doesn't matter if you're Larry Flint and your thoughts are all about pornography. It is still creative. MTV is still creative. You might say it's destructive, but it comes from somebody's head and their thinking and their doing, and it's creative.
It influences things, yes. Right? Is that the same thing?
No, that the influence can be destructive in its nature.
Well, it creates an emotion. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good emotion.
Yes. Just all thought is creative.
Yeah.
Okay? So it really goes back to, and God spoke, and it became. So God said, let there be light, and there was light. All thought is creative. It is up to you to decide whether it is good or evil. Got it? If you want to put it in religious terms, Satan, he's creative. He is creative. He's evil, but he's creating. Same with God. If you look at the E system or solution that I've been talking about, and you look at it from the founder's point of view, and from the point of view of the founders of the movement to destroy the Constitution, what is the American experiment? Why do they call it the American experiment? Do you know? Why was it called the American experiment?
Well, no one had really tried it that way before.
Never tried what?
Never tried allowing man to rule themselves.
Got it. Got it. That is critical. That is probably the only debate that we should be having right now. Can man rule himself? Now, how did they get to that question? They came up with a system that they thought could be the answer. Can men rule themselves? They said yes. Now, after that, they had to create a system so man could rule himself. But it required not only a good, brilliant system, it also required good, brilliant people. And people to remain engaged and people to remain good. When they say America was not built for an uneducated or not virtuous people, that's what they mean. You know, because the American experiment was, can man rule himself? Up until this time, the answer had always been no. Always. The road to serfdom, the reason why that title doesn't scream out to people here in America is because we were never serfs. In Europe, they were. They were serfs, and they served the master. And the master, if you read things even like King Arthur, the master was either the king or the church. Look at Robin Hood. The serfs, the people. Robin Hood was stealing. No, he wasn't. The people had already been stolen from. The church and government in collusion was stealing. All right, so those are the serfs. They were either ruled by the church or they were ruled by the king. So when our founders came over here, and it started much, much earlier than this, what happened? They wanted to say, well, no, I think we can do it on our own, because they had been isolated from the rest of the world. They had come over here, and there was so much land, and there was so much freedom, there was so much space, the man could just go off in the middle of the woods. Not like in Europe. Some lord owned all of that land. So a man could go out in the woods and make his own way, and people could gather around, and they'd start a little town. And they realized, we can do this.